Hello fellas and fillettes, I'm C's, and I'm going to bring you a couple budget guns that are going to propel you from level 15 onward in your task and PvP. So first budget gun on the list is going to be a Barter from Mechanic level 2. It will net you a base SKS with a Tapco Intrafuse stock kit on it. So what you'll do is you'll head over to Mechanic level 2, go to Barter items. As you can see here, there's actually two options for going about getting an SKS from Mechanic. There's the OP SKS, which goes for 3 weapons parts, and the Tapco SKS, which goes for a GP coin and a screwdriver. Depending on the circumstances, either one of these could be more expensive than each other. I would check on the flea to see which one is more expensive, but since this one is the objectively worst build, I will go ahead and show you a good way to build it. So this one is normally cheaper. I wouldn't say it would be right now due to the weapons parts and the GP coin being about 30k, but these normally go for about 22k. And you can find these screwdrivers for ridiculously cheap. They often go lower than this, but let's go ahead and get into the building. So first thing you'll want to do is to check on the flea to see which suppressor is cheaper for the SKS. There's two options of going about suppressing an SKS. You have the DTK4M, which goes onto the weapons tuning mount, and you have the Hexagon SKS, which goes directly onto the muzzle itself. But once you get the suppressor sorted out, we'll go to edit preset. We'll start at the butt of the gun. There's a ton of options for you to choose as far as stocks go, but I normally default to the Mo. If you have access to the rear butt pad, go ahead and put that on. It gives a nice ergonomic boost and a recoil reduction, but I don't have access to that, so I'll leave it off. Going forward, I normally like to choose one of the RVGs, either the black one or the FDE, or one of the AFGs. The AFG FDE is normally the cheapest option, and it gives positive 7 ergonomics and negative 2 recoil reduction. After that, you'll definitely want to run the XPS 3.0 from Peacekeeper, just the normal EOTech. This one, it doesn't blur out whenever you're shooting, whenever you're spamming. You don't lose sight of the reticle. It is the best sight option for this. It is tested. But once all that comes together, you got a really cheap build that goes for around 106k. And this thing can sling BP pretty accurately, as I'm about to show. Now let's see how she handles. A quick ergo check. Pretty snappy. Standing spam. And a crouching spam. As you can see, it is more than viable in both situations. So next up, I want to go over a very slept on weapon in Tarkov, the G36. This one goes for a direct buy from Peacekeeper level 2. It is $458. You can get 4 per reset, which is nice. It makes it really good to throw some 5.6A1, which you can also get from Peacekeeper level 2. But let's go ahead and get into the build. So from that default G36, what you're going to want to do is throw on the KV stock. Gives a little bit more recoil. Going up, we'll go ahead and put on whatever sight you like. I of course like the XPS. Now, since I don't have the option for the side rail yet, I have to use a top rail. If you have the side rail, go ahead and use that instead. But I'm gonna go ahead and put on a maul simply because it's tilted and it doesn't interfere with the sight picture at all like any of the other top options would. And from here, we're gonna go ahead and go to the muzzle. Find your Surefire 3-prong brake. And then to that, we're gonna add a monster suppressor. Once again, the options are the same, Ravage or the AFG. I'm gonna go ahead and just go with the FDE one. And that completes the build. Super simple to build, very effective. Comes down to 50 recoil, 47 ergo. We're gonna find the parts And as you can see, this build is super cheap. Super cheap. Alright, we'll start with an ergo check. Pretty snappy. Standing recoil. Throw another one into the mix. Does have a little bit of a punch at first, but you're able to kick down that punch very effective. Crouching recoil right here. Switch to full auto. Crouching recoil is insane. You can definitely beam people with that. Those are 3 very dead men. This one is going to be a 2-for-1 special because both of these submachine guns come from a barter. What you're going to do here, go to Peacekeeper 2, barter items. You can utilize this from level 1 or level 2. You have the UMP and you have the MP5. They both go for different kinds of scav knives, as you can see here, 4 of each, and then an ER bayonet. If you start stacking up your scav knives, you can get these for super cheap. The UMP, super simple to build. It really boils down to if you want a suppressor or not. The suppressor goes for really cheap on the flea, probably 27k. That's actually a lot cheaper than I expected it to be. 27k. All you can do is sight, light, and grip. Brings the total cost of the build to almost nothing whenever you factor in all of this stuff is pretty much from traders. And what you get is a cheap, effective blaster that has low recoil and shoots one of the better starting cartridges in the game. And then there's this spicy little MP5 SD build. Coming from the base MP5 that we just picked up from the barter, you'll want to head over to Peacekeeper again. You'll want to purchase the MP5 SD suppressor for 215, the handguard for 44, and the upper for 63. Brings it up to around a little over $300. From that, go ahead and take your MP5 upper off, put on your MP5 SD upper, as well as the handguard and suppressor. Now, take off the stock, slap it on your new MP5 SD. Next, you want to go ahead and grab the BNT rail mount for 5,000 from Mechanic. Go ahead and put that on. Grab the tri-ring rail mount from Peacekeeper for 35. And then whatever sight fits you. Now from here, I go ahead and link search that. I usually throw a D-ball on this. Peacekeeper sells that, but I do not have access to it. The D-ball is very cheap on the flea. And there you have it. Super effective, low recoil build. I'm going to go ahead and take the one I have here. We'll give a quick recoil check. There goes alright, that's because I have a drum in it. MP5 has little to no recoil. So I'm going to show you guys what is essentially an infinite gun craft. So this is a nifty little craft for an AK-74N. Once you hit the flea, you can get these, but this is accessible from as soon as you start level 1. If you find all these 3 parts right here, you could buy these from proper level 1 and start a craft for an AK-74N. Now, once you have said 74N in your stash, peel these 2 pieces off, go ahead and snag yourself another weapons parts for 7k, and you got yourself crafting a brand new AK. So from this AK, we'll go ahead and edit preset. We'll go to the stock tab, select the UAS, go to the handguard section, We're going to pick the X47 for this build because it opens us up for a foregrip, a light, and a sight all in one mount. We're going to go ahead and put on our sight, our foregrip, and our light. Now, for the muzzle brake, there's obviously a lot of options that you can go for. There is the DTK, which is the starter one, brings you down to 52, but I highly recommend going for the JMac if you have the flea market. This will bring you down to around 45 recoil and 66 ergo. I'm gonna go ahead and find the parts. And as you can see, this brings the build down to around 114,000 rubles. Let's give it a test, shall we? Here's the standing. And the crouch. As you can see, youch. So lastly, we're going to talk about something a little bit more long range. We're going to be talking about the Scar L. Comes in two different configurations. One comes in a short barrel, one comes in a long barrel. They go for about the same price on the flea. But without further ado, let's go ahead and edit the preset. Nothing really to do on the back of the gun. First thing we'll do is we'll take off the side and the bottom rails and add the MREX 6.5. We will then add the necessary rails to add our foregrip. Oopsie. And our light. Next, go ahead and add the Surefire 3-prong, put on the monster, and from here it's whatever scope you want. You could add a voodoo if you really wanted to, but we're gonna go ahead and go with the hammer and the delta point. And that completes the build. We're gonna go ahead and find parts here. Without the gun, comes to around 186k. That is a long range semi/fully automatic gun with decent recoil. You can take this to woods, it'll serve you well. Take it to lighthouse, it does great. I'm gonna go ahead and take it to the hideout. Alright, let's give it a try. Ergo check. Works. Alrighty, give it a tap fire. Got a nice return center time. Top side is bugged, don't worry. It will be better. And the crouch. You can see this gun is very capable. Hello, Editor C's here. First off, if you made it to the end of the video, I appreciate you. If you liked the video, go ahead and leave a like, and if you're feeling really cheeky, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and leave a comment down in the comment section about what your favorite budget gun is. I play Escape from Tarkov and other games, so expect some variety content soon. Till then, peace.